we're gonna explore the captivating world of artificial intelligence and the metaverse. These two cutting-edge concepts are reshaping the way that we interact with our technology and opening endless possibilities for innovation and creativity. We're gonna be discussing everything from AI-powered NPCs, where intelligent agents are living out their lives independent of the player, to the psychology of how to create a Web 3.0 emotional connection with your unique digital objects. Get ready to uncover the secrets of the metaverse and the role that artificial intelligence is playing in our future. So a new full-body keyboard exists, which allows you to translate your favorite motions into text messages. So now you can communicate with ChatGPT in a silent room. But I mean, unless you're grunting or breathing or whatever. For basic characters, it uses something called flag semaphore, which you might have seen in like a cool military movie where like the guy on the deck is like directing the airplane with flags. If you've ever seen that before, that's semaphore. But now you can do so many more keyboard commands. So if you want to like hold shift to make it a modifier, then instead of having your fists closed, you just open them up. To backspace, you put both of your hands over your mouth. To hold the command button, you make sure that your left thigh is horizontal, and the control button is your right thigh. Exclamation point has something like this going on, which kind of makes sense, I guess. And any letter in semaphore while you're squatting will give you a special symbol. So Wonder Studio just used this new artificial intelligence model to help make real-time animations. We all knew this was coming, but it is cool to see it pretty much working now. Here's one of the guys over at Corridor Crew playing with it, and look at how realistic that alien moves with his body. No keyframes, no character rigging, all of that was done behind the scenes by artificial intelligence. And how cool is this? These two guys filmed a fight scene and then decided to just swap one of the people out with a robot. I mean, look at this scene from The Dark Knight. We can now swap people in and out of movies at will. Unlock the world of AI. Realistic characters in virtual reality that you won't believe. So imagine living in a virtual world that's populated by realistic and believable characters. And you can interact with any of them just using natural language. Well, wait no longer, because researchers at Stanford University introduced new generative agents. These are AI-driven computational agents that act and behave just like people would. And to showcase how this works, the coolest thing is they built like a whole little Sims video game for them. The characters develop skills and personalities and goals over time, and they all play out in one continuous way. So each agent, which we call those little characters, they have three components that make up their personality: observation, planning, and reflection. And together they create a very human-like atmosphere. So hop in there and start interacting with them using natural language. This sets the groundwork for some interesting new ways to think about education, research, and entertainment. This is an ever-evolving simulation of 25 artificial intelligent agents that are actually living their life and using natural language to talk to one another. So whatever time you're watching this video, if you come to this URL, you're welcome to click on any of these characters and you'll find that they've evolved from this state. So for example, let's start with Haley Johnson. Okay, not the most exciting first choice. She's sleeping right now. So instead we'll talk to Sam Moreno. So he runs the pharmacy, and right now he's just opening up for the day. Specifically setting up the cash register right now. Oh, just changed on me. Now he's stocking the shelves. So he's working quietly, but let's go check him out. Here's the pharmacy in the village, and here he is setting up. So it looks like there's one other agent that's in the store with him. So let's check out what JL's up to, because they might start a conversation soon. Let's see who that is.
Farewell.
Oh no, she left. Never mind. Okay, so SM, KM, these guys are chatting. Let's go find out what they're all about. And it looks like they're having a conversation about the effects of gentrification on low-income communities, and Klaus is seeking a recommendation for a creative writing workshop to improve his writing skills for his research paper. Isn't that crazy? That's the one time they're gonna have this conversation, because it's like ChatGPT style conversations that are being generated. It just happens to be what it wanted to talk about at that moment, just like a real world. Master the art of 3D object creation. iPhone scanning plus Unreal Engine combine and unleashed. There's a digital artist on Twitter named Coffee Vector who just uploaded an awesome workflow that anybody could use. So this rudimentary, bare bones video game is something that he started by just taking a photo of his actual coffee table. So Luma Labs has a tool that you can use with your iPhone to scan in a three-dimensional object. And Unreal Engine is a tool that you can use to create these game mechanics. So scanning in the coffee table using NERF, which is just a special way of saying 2D photos can turn into 3D objects. He then imported it into the Unreal Engine video game creator. And then he goes on to talk about the template that he used to create that 2D side-scrolling video game style. And then lastly, built collision detection around the real objects, because of course the character could walk right through the stuff that was solid when he took photos of it, so you have to add that part in. So imagine what that means for the metaverse. We can actually invite all of our friends into VR and stand on a coffee table. AI versus the Metaverse, debunking the Meta pivot. So Meta's been talking a lot about artificial intelligence, especially their Llama natural language model. And it does seem like the CEO Mark Zuckerberg, his CTO, and COO are all spending most of their time talking about AI recently. And budgets even show that Meta's spending more money on artificial intelligence than they are on their Metaverse projects. So some have started criticizing Mark Zuckerberg for jumping to the new shiny toy, but they haven't stopped funding the Reality Labs project, which builds all the AR and VR goggles, so they're still going full steam ahead with that. And honestly, AI and the Metaverse have a lot of synergies. Advances in one benefits the other, especially when it comes to generating content for the Metaverse. So I would say that their new PR strategy might be to talk about AI, but don't forget, they're committed to the Metaverse. AI Unlocked, how Sam and SegGPT are changing the Metaverse experience. One of the biggest problems about getting something from the real world into the Metaverse is that if you take a photo of it, the photo is not smart enough to know exactly what that object is, how it actually looks and feels in 3 dimensions, the kind of material it's made of.
Who are you? I don't know.
But there's been 2 artificial intelligent breakthroughs that have helped make some of that a little more possible by just taking a photograph. The first one comes from Meta and it's called Segment Anything, and the other is an open source project coming out of China called SegGPT. So Meta released a giant data set of humans that went in there and added all that information to photographs. They're calling it SA-1B, and it's integrated into the artificial intelligence SAM, and it's been made open source. What's cool is that it can generate a mask for any photograph or frame from a video, which means you can take objects right out of the photograph and start looking at them in VR and AR environments. So in the future, there's a bunch of applications for like price comparison or just keeping a record of all the people, objects, and places we've been. Web3, building emotional connections in the Metaverse. Li Jin just wrote a piece on Substack talking about how to create an emotional connection to a Web3 metaverse. She argues that Web3 psychological relationships require cultivating a different type of connection with users. So the creators need to give more control to the users and more freedom for them to take their objects wherever they want on the web. That's what's needed to create the psychological connection over mineness. Sense of ownership. Tokens, NFTs, objects, they need to swap between wallets or wherever the user wants them to be. Another key strategy is co-creation, where the users are involved with the decision-making process and even put some effort into getting their object or their NFT in the first place. And this approach enhances word-of-mouth enjoyment and willingness to defend a product. And also making sure that they're building in public so everybody can see the effort that they're putting into this object is another key factor. And then maybe that's also a piece of a bigger economy. So it gives them some kind of a share or a right or a vote in some sort of bigger thing, where that human fundamental need to be part of something bigger than ourselves comes into place. Code-free game building. Effortlessly create in-game objects with ease. So guess what? Roblox is now testing a new artificial intelligent tool to help people write code, making it way easier to build and modify in-game objects. Imagine being able to create buildings and terrains and avatars just by typing in whatever you want. No more complex code, mathematics, or not hitting the spacebar correctly and then the whole thing breaks. And Roblox CTO just showed Wired magazine a demo of the project. It started with a vehicle and it let him change the appearance of the car and the game behavior just using natural language. And this could be a game changer because there's so many people that like to build in Roblox, and when it becomes this easy, now they can either get more done or it can bring in new developers, more creators. Profit from your passion. Fortnite 2.0's earnings revolution. Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite and Unreal Engine, just announced a new revenue sharing system for in-game content creators. Epic Games now plans to spend 40% of their profits back on the creators. So how much you make will depend on how popular your content is, so it's likely to spark some healthy competition. And although user-created content is big in Fortnite, it's still unclear how the user economy is going to play out in the long run. But with Epic sharing revenue from V-Bucks purchases, real money, DLC, and crew subscriptions, the potential earnings definitely look promising.